Hi, my name is David Packouz, and if you saw the movie War Dogs, you know my story. And these are my 5 top lessons that I took from War Dogs. My first lesson is be very careful who you partner with. Partnering with somebody in business is one of the most important decisions you can make. It's on par, if not greater, than who you decide to marry, because you're going to be spending a good chunk of your life with this person, and your livelihood is going to depend on your partner. You want to find somebody who will add strength to your weaknesses and who your strengths could add to their weaknesses. And that is the ideal partner. With Ephraim, he already had the knowledge. He had incredible amount of energy and work ethic. And where I came in with our partnership was that I was more organized and more responsible. So we were a good partnership in that way. However, in any partnership, there can be deal breakers. And one thing that you should look for that could be a deal breaker is how your partner treats other people they do business with. And that was my big failing, was that I didn't realize that if he's cheating other people, he's probably eventually going to cheat me, and probably shouldn't be somebody I should be associated with. And it was something that I told myself, hey, I'm his best friend. He's going to treat me well. But of course, people tend to treat their partners like they treat anyone else in business. So don't think that you're special. In general, you want to be around people who are just positive impacts on your life, because business and your career is such an enormous aspect of your life that you want to be around people who you want to aspire to be more like. Therefore, you should look for people who may be good business partners, but also good life partners, and people who you will be proud to be associated with and proud to become and grow more like. The second thing I learned, the harder you work, the luckier you get, because the more effort you put into something, the more likely you are to succeed at it. There's no guarantee that you're going to succeed at it. You could work very hard and you can fail, and that happens many times. But the likelihood of you succeeding goes significantly up the more you work. One of the big reasons that we beat the other major defense contractors for the $300 million Afghan contract is because we were obsessively working this for 18 hours a day for months. We went down all the Google search results. We went through the entire trade directories of arms manufacturers and brokers. We got literally a quote from everyone, and we wouldn't let go until the people that we were asking for quotes gave us quotes. And this is something that the large defense contractors are just not in the habit of doing. They have their 9-to-5 salaried workers who will put in a reasonable amount of effort, professional level of effort, but they're not obsessed like we were. And I think that that's why we beat them, because we just outwork them. And number 3, you learn by doing. You could spend your whole life reading books and taking courses and watching YouTube videos and talking to people, but at the end of the day, you're only going to really know whether you learned anything or whether you can apply your knowledge is by actually going out there and doing it. When you start government contracting, you just have to start submitting bids. And even if you don't feel like you're ready, you have to submit bids with a mindset that this is a practice thing, that you are practicing, you are learning by submitting the bid. And if you're lucky, you may actually win some of those bids and actually make some money, but don't think of it that way. Think of it as an educational experience, because you will learn a lot more through the process of doing than you would ever have by reading. Now, you do still need to read and educate yourself on how the whole thing works, because then you have 0 chance if you're submitting things incorrectly. But all the reading in the world isn't going to help you unless you're actually submitting bids. So just start submitting bids, and you're going to get better at it with every bid. The 4th lesson I learned, never hesitate to ask for help. People think that the contracting officers are going to judge you if you don't know anything. That's not actually true, because contracting officers like it when new people enter the field. It means there's more competition. They tend to get better prices. They're often tired of dealing with the same old people that they've been dealing with the past 20 years who have gotten lazy and are used to just winning contracts without much work. They like it when young, new people come into the industry. If you could be honest with a contracting officer and say, hey, I don't understand this aspect of the solicitation. What should I do about that? As long as you're polite and professional, and respect them and respect their time, they will be happy to help you. That is an enormous resource that you have to make use of. And the more engaged you are with the contracting officer, the better of an impression that you will give them, the higher the likelihood that they will have of trusting you and of awarding you the contract when you submit that bid. And finally, the fifth lesson I learned from War Dogs: don't limit yourself to any specific niche. You may have a specialty, but that does not mean that that is the only thing you can bid on. We had a specialty of arms and ammunition. However, my first contract actually was for 40,000 gallons of propane. And we won contracts for food and for boots and for cars. We had a large variety of contracts because anytime we saw a solicitation that we could technically possibly win, we went for it. And we worked our asses off at it. Now, it is easier if you go into a specific niche, but it doesn't have to be a limiting factor. There are many, many opportunities, and you should go for as many of them as possible. So those are the 5 biggest lessons that I learned from my experience in the War Dog story. Now go out and make your own story.